Hello, everyone. You're welcome, welcome, welcome. I'd like to welcome everyone, our guests, and also our viewers. Thank you for being on this show. And before we go into bringing in a guest, I'd like to introduce what the show is all about. This is Making a Difference with Sandra Ukoh. Yeah, we bring great guests who are making a difference in their work every day, what they're doing, how they're impacting their work. And today we have a special guest with us. Her name is Rosena Duncanson. And but before I bring her, I'd like to introduce myself. My name is Sandra Ukoh. I'm a Maxwell Leadership Certified Team Member, Speaker, Coach, and Trainer, a member of the Toastmaster, an IT salesperson for over 20 years, and also a best-selling author. And today we have no other person than Rosana herself. And today she'll be taking us on the story, sharing a story with us, a story of, you know, Misguided Rose, a story of, love, pain, and everything, how she went through difficult moments and how she overcame. And so we'll be going on a ride with her this evening. And just before I bring her on board, let me just so welcome, 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 welcome everyone. Thank you, and I'm so grateful. Another exciting Monday. Yeah, I have Rosana Duncanson. She's a passionate writer, and she's also a mentor, life coach, and a first-time published poetry author of Memories of the Misguided Rose. She's born in the beautiful island of the Bahamas. Rosana is a lover of arts, music, and nature scenes. Rosana has attained many professional accolades, and this has taken her, through diverse sphere, and this takes part in both civic and professional developments organization. She embraces her passion for youth development and helping others through mentoring, coordinating various volunteer initiatives, and also including coordinating Toastmaster Youth Leadership Programs and a recent Read Aloud program initiated with the local primary school to promote literacy in Bahamas. And we have no other person than Rosana herself. She'll be joining us in the studio this evening. So excited to have you, ma'am. Good evening. Welcome, welcome, welcome.
Good evening, Sandra, and thank you for having me here this evening. And I want to say hello to all of those that would have joined us from the Bahamas. It's a holiday here today, so thank you for popping in and just being here with us this evening. And Sandra, you mentioned I have recently published my first book, and I'm really excited to spend some time with you this evening to just talk about it, talk about the journey, and anything else that comes up as we talk tonight.
Yeah, that's a great one. In our world, we actually called to just stand out. We're called to make a difference in our world, and we're also called to give back. It is said that to whom much is given, much is expected. So we are grateful, and that's why we're, thankful. And that's why we're sharing our story, from where we started from zero to hero. And today, a lot of us are still on that journey of becoming an hero. So I'd like to hear your story from how you went through the misguided roles, the painful moments, and how you are the smiling and the beautiful Rose now. We'd like to hear from you.
Well, thank you so much. The book itself actually started a couple of years ago. One thing I found out, as a young adult is writing is therapeutic. We go through so many things and it's kind of hard sometimes to share how we feel with others. Either we may be embarrassed, either it may be too painful, they may be unavailable, we may not want to share, it's private, whatever the reason may be. I found that writing for me was that outlet to put things on paper so that I can be able to get my feelings out. And I wrote,
Oh,
and I kept it to myself. And that went on for years, just writing in journals, writing in, my notepad and just keeping it to myself. And as the years went on, I decided to put them all together just to consolidate, to see what I had and, see how it all looked put together. And someone took the time to just kind of flip through and read it and asked me, why don't you publish this? And to be honest, at that time, I thought that was a terrible idea. This is my private thoughts, things that I just wrote down for me. It was never intended to be anything public. But Sandra, the truth is, our journeys, our experiences, our moments of success, of pain, anything is always there to help someone else. And so when I decided to release the book, my hope is that my experiences that might have been painful can be used to support someone to getting to the point of resilience, a point of joy, a point of happiness. I'm prepared to share my pain if it can help you to feel better.
Yeah, true.
So that was what I was able to do when and I released the book just in February of this year. February 10th was my actual release date. So it was a fresh new book just coming out this year, 2023. And so it's still hot off the press and still being circulated across, various mediums. Right now the book is local, it's online. Persons have had a chance to read it and said it's a very emotional book. It's very honest and to the point. And so it definitely has everything from heartbreak, but there's also love. And there's also moments of self-reflection where you can be able to rediscover yourself.
True. Thank you so much. Where can you get a book? Can you get a book on Amazon?
Absolutely. The book is on Amazon, is on Books a Million. What I find helpful is you can just Google Memories of a Misguided Rose, and whatever website is better for you based on where you're located, you can buy the book.
Oh, awesome. Awesome. Great one. So can you tell us a story from how you started and what you're doing right now and how you intend to get where you want to be?
So where I started, and I heard you mention, and I'm also in Toastmasters. I found that being able to speak in front of crowds was intimidating, was very difficult. And so I joined Toastmasters to help me to overcome my fear of public speaking. I tell a lot of persons, sometimes you don't get over the fear, but you learn to manage. You learn to figure out how to some
True.
and some tricks to cope based on where you are. So the fear might still be there, which is good, but you can be much better, much more confident than you were when you first started. Uh, but as time went on, I found that the program was more than just about public speaking. It's about developing your leadership skills,
Yeah.
developing mentoring skills, building your network, finding persons that you can either share with or they can share with you. And so it becomes this symbiotic relationship of sharing and growing and learning and just bettering yourself all together. And so the program has given me much more than the tips to get over the fear of public speaking. And it's helped me to say, you know what, I can take my story, whether it be in written format or speaking format, and use it to share with somebody else.
That's awesome. We all have a story, and what makes us our standard is our story, because our story we're unique. There's no two people who have same story. Even
Mhm.
when you have identical twins, they don't look alike. They don't have same story. They could look alike, but their experiences and response to life are always very different. Just like the fingerprints, there are no two people who have similar or same fingerprints. So could you tell us your journey whilst trying to come up from those difficult moments? What did you do? How did you go around it? Did you have mentors? Did you have people, circle of friends who were there to help you? Because one of the things that guided me in life was having the right set of people around you. Reading the right set of book. What kind of resources comes inside of you? What environment do you find yourself? And sometimes you'll find that there are some environments that are not conducive for growth. So you have got to leave those environments. But sometimes you do not have help to even leave. Maybe that's where you find yourself, your family members and everything. But how do you work through such difficult moments to come out to be your best version?
So I think at the beginning, we don't always realize that we have good people around us because it wasn't intentional, it was more accidental. You have your family, you have your friends, and they've always been supportive. No matter what you go through, they'll always be there and stick by your side. If you make a mistake, they won't leave you. If you do something wrong, they'll stick by your side. They'll give you some tips, but they won't leave you. And then there are others who, when things are good, they're around, and when things are bad, they disappear. And so it's finding those persons that are going to be with you through the most difficult times. What I also found is sometimes you have to repeat a lesson a couple of times before you learn the lesson. When I used to write my poetry, I would notice that I would write something new, and if I were to reread some of my work, they look very similar. The words may be different, but the experience is the same. And so it made me question, what am I doing to continue these experiences repeatedly? And so sometimes having that chance to reflect helps you to realize that you may be going down a similar path on a continuous journey. And so if you want something different, what do we now do that's next? So I found that changing where I spent my time. So, for example, joining programs like Toastmasters, Bible studies, small groups, and being intentional about where you spent your time and who you spent your time around would help you to be able to get new insights on how to do things differently. And then you'll be able to see yourself in a different light and then desire more and want more. But it goes back to having a goal. Like, what do you want and who do you see yourself as? I know for me, I wanted to be a professional, so I dressed the part. I found a job that was considered professional, and I continued to work towards it. And I spent my time around professional women, professional men to help me to learn the skills I needed to learn. Same thing with public speaking. Find yourself around persons who are doing those things. I notice now that I've written my first book, I find myself around more writers or persons who are interested in writing. And so you tend to sometimes magnetize yourself around people that are like-minded, that help push you to where you want to be in your true purpose.
Yeah, that's so true. Finding out everyone in the part you want to be. Like you want to find out, okay, you want to be a good wife, you want to be a good mother. You find out someone who's being a good mother in that sphere so that the person can really mentor you. You
Mhm.
probably want to be a good entrepreneur. You want to find someone who's doing great as an entrepreneur. And you find out, it's okay, I want to be a good singer, but I want to find out who is a great singer that I have to, you know, wait for the person, just go through with the person. The person is there to mentor you, the person is there to guide you. And that's true for life, that you can't go through your journey alone. You need people at every instance. And that's why it is said that God places the solitary in families. God knows why we need people. And that's why, there's this word that says, two have a better reward for their labor. And you can find that out. There's a saying that says, if you want to go far in life, you go alone. But if you want to go far, you go with a team of people of like minds. Like you rightly said, you need that circle of friends because you might just think you can do it all alone, but along the journey of life, things can get so tough. Like you find that some people, are cast into depression. Some, before you know it, they are already thinking, "Oh, I want to throw in the towel. I
Mhm.
want to take my life." But when you have great circle of people, they are there to cheer you up. They're there to tell you their own journey, and you are there to learn from them. That they went even more difficult situations than you did. So if you think yours was bad, when you get to hear other people's story, you tend to see, oh my God, mine is just a piece of cake. So that also encourages you and puts you in the path again to say, oh, I can still try. And life is all about consistency. It's about giving in your best and not giving in. And there's this word someone say, if God called you, don't play small.
Yeah.
Don't play small at all. Meaning have a God-sized dream. Since the guy taught me that word, I just said it's true. If you're called by God, you don't want to have any small sized dream. So
Mhm.
you want to have a God sized dream, you need God's backing in order for you to be able to shine. So you have to think out of the box. And there would always be obstacles. There
Mhm.
is no one living that has no obstacles. It's either you're just leaving one adversity to another. But you have people going from one adversity to the other, and that's what life is all about. So, except you're dead and gone from this world, then we can say, okay, there are no challenges, there's no more trouble. But as
Mhm.
long as you're living, it's going to be ups and downs. And, the grace to go through is what we need to ask God, and we would always come through. And sometimes when we go through difficult moments, it's not just for us, but for us to be there for other people.
Yeah.
When we learn this rope, when people go through diverse situations, we are there to mentor them. We are there to guide them, to let them know, I know you will come through. It does happen. And when
Mhm.
it does happen, just, gaze on God, just focus on God,
Yeah.
you know. And there is really no self-made man.
Mhm.
Everyone that you see on earth was helped by someone.
Yeah.
God will always send somebody your way to help lift you. And that's why I tell people, I say, when you get into a difficult situation, you must be in an environment, a circle of friends, people who can help you. You can't be in a well and you want people to help you and you're not stretching out for people to lift you out. You must also show that you need for others to help you. So I also want to find out, when you had difficult moments, how did you manage? Did you think of looking for help from other people? Or did you, because I see difficult moments as there are two things that we can allow those moments to do for us. They either make us better or they mar us. So you choose what you want to do, because there's a lot to learn in failure than
Yeah.
you would learn in success. Because there's this word, John Maxwell would always say, keep success and failure together. The reason why you keep them together, it keeps you resilient. Meaning
Yeah.
that when you fail, you pick up yourself, find out the reason why you failed, find out
Yeah.
the reason why things didn't work out the first time, learn from those ropes and get better.
Mhm.
Because you find that sometimes success is not a destination, it's just a journey. And you find that success, if not well managed, can get into your head and you become so prideful.
Yeah.
So you find that you learn more in failures than you would learn in success. So have you managed those difficult moments? And I'm sure probably you've had people around you who had difficult moments. Were you able to help them with your story?
So the truth is, at the beginning, no, it wasn't easy. At the beginning, it was more like you want to just bury yourself and just, pretend that life just stopped and you can just cover your head and, stay asleep, right? But that's not reality. Like you mentioned, a part of life is failure, things not going well. And so the one word I'm appreciative of is resilient, being okay with getting up and trying again.
True.
Yes, it may be painful. Yes, you may get hurt again, but you get up and you try again. As a
True.
matter of fact, I started to do something called Motivational Mondays. On my Instagram account, Lady Zena Rose, I posted a video just today actually. And the video said, don't go back to being comfortable, meaning that it's okay to be uncomfortable and be comfortable being uncomfortable. Because the truth is, we want to stay where things feel good. This is easy, I can
True.
do this. But what really shows growth and resilience and the ability to push forward is being okay, being uncomfortable, being uncertain, trying something new, and just pushing through it. And if it doesn't work out, it's not failure. You learned something, you tried
True.
something. You now have one more lesson you did not have before. And you can tell someone, hey, don't do that. That's not going to work. Or that didn't work for me and I tried it this way and this is how it works. Maybe that way will try it and work for you too. And so, yes, after I learned to get out of my feelings, get out of my own way, I was able to say, here's what I went through. Yes, it was painful, but here I am now. I'm not perfect. I may still have some feelings, some traumas, some things I'm healing from, but I'm able to talk about it. I'm able to, smile about it and say it's a part of my story, a part of my lesson, a part of who I am. We think about the ingredients to a cake. Every little piece makes it the best cake ever. So every little piece makes me the best me ever. And so we have to look at these experiences, good, bad, and different, as a piece to you being the best you. And it's hard, but these all make us into the best us. And these are all part of God's plan. God knows everything from the day we were born to the day we die, what we're
Yeah.
going to go through. And as I think back on the various stories back in the Bible days, the persons who went through, just turmoil and challenges, He gave them the best rewards or the best experiences or elevated them even higher. And so let's look at these things as a part of our journey, a part of our story, and a part of who we are. They say iron sharpens iron. And so
Oh, with a
while you're
man.
going through what you're going through, ensure that you find people around you who are going to sharpen you, who are going to push you to be better, who's going to say, Sandra, you did good, but I know you, and I know you could do it even better. And be okay with that feedback. Be okay with someone telling you, I know there's more for you. Let's go out there and get it. And you say the same thing back to them. Hey, Rose, I know you could do better. I know there's more for you. Let me help you get there. And so finding persons who are going to sharpen you, keep you resilient and keep you going forward is what I learned. It took some time, but now I'm able to say, hey, I don't mind sharing my story if it helps you to be a better person.
Yeah, that's true. You rightly said it. You can't be in your comfortable zone and grow. What
Hmm.
doesn't stretch you doesn't grow you.
Absolutely.
So you must go through like my little girl at home. She'll tell me, "Mommy, beauty is pain." And that's why women are when I'm trying to make her hair, she's crying and like, mommy is hurting. And I'm like, she said, mommy, it's not easy to look beautiful. And I like, yes, that's true because when you make your hair, you're
Yeah.
paying for little girls, how they cry, but they
Mhm.
want to look good. The moment you're done, they're in the mirror like, oh, mommy, my hair is good. But when you're making the hair, they're
Mm-mm.
there, they're crying and they're sobbing. True, you rightly said. You have to be
Exactly.
in the right circle in order for you to grow. You have to be in the right group for you to grow. So find out, where are you now? Who are you hanging around?
Mm-hmm.
What are the resources you allow to come inside of you? There are three things we must watch whilst in the part of development, personal growth. We must watch the resource that comes inside of us.
Yeah.
What are the things you read? What are the movies? What movies do you watch?
Mm-hmm.
What do you allow inside of you?
Mm-hmm.
Who are the people you hang around? Because you have naysayers. There's some people, the moment they hear your vision, they tell you, oh, it can't work. It's already dead. It's
Mm-hmm.
not possible in this time. They try to tell you everything that is negative.
Yeah.
Then you find out what environments are you growing. But you find that some environments, every time you get into the circle of friends, they try to run you down. They
Mm-hmm.
try to want to make you feel that you're nothing. So you want to be with the right set of people. And it is said that you have to look for your circle of friends. Look for that group of people and plug in. Be in that circle because this will help you actually, be a different person, be
Yes.
a better version of yourself because you begin to look inward. You begin to learn from other people's story so that you
Mm-hmm.
don't need to reinvent the wheels, just like we have Rosena's story, we're sharing from a story. Yes, that's because we do not want to repeat what she's gone through. We can learn from her and each on our back to ride on to greater place. We don't need to go through the same. Yes, you might not have started your personal growth journey, but it's not too late to start today. And that's why I tell people, I said the best time to have ever planted a tree was 20 years ago, but the
Mm-hmm.
next best time is now.
Yeah.
Take those baby steps. Yes, you might say, oh, they're so small, but they will gradually take you to where you're going to. Because if you do not start now, you probably will never even come up to say you want to do anything. So
Yeah.
I tell people, I said, no matter how difficult it is, how wobbling it could look, but you find out that even toddlers, when they're growing, when they want to walk, they start by creeping. And
Mm-hmm.
later they try to hold the tables and the chairs around for them to be able to stand. And you find out that later they start taking one or two baby steps. They fall then and they get up again. The moment you keep getting up, everything putting together, the compounding effect, you get better by doing it over.
Yeah.
And it's said that no leader ever did anything once the best way. They made a mistake. When I
Mm-hmm.
started my podcast, I was fretty. I couldn't stand to do it. I had to call a friend to join me. So we were three, me and a friend and my guests. But I found out that this particular day, the guy had an emergency. He was nowhere to be found. And it was almost time for me to have my show. I was like, oh my God, how do I start? This guy is not here today. I was calling his phones were all switched off. I was calling one or two friends to see. But I had to put on the courage to go on. And guess what? Since then, I never needed him again. So I never called him. So, but I found out that if I never started with him,
Yeah.
or pick myself up the day he didn't show up, I probably would have stopped doing a podcast. And now I can stand, I can do it. Yes, I make mistakes. I'm not a perfect person, but I'm learning every day.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm getting better by doing it every day. And so that's why I tell people, I say, whatever situation you find yourself, keep doing what you're doing. Keep doing what you're doing. Whilst doing it, you get better.
Yeah.
You get better. Thank you so much. But can you also share with us when you had the great moments? How did you celebrate it? Because that is what that says motivation keeps you going,
Mm-hmm.
discipline keeps you growing. So what were your guiding factors that kept you going, even in difficult situations? And when things were working out for you, how did you manage? And I also find out that beyond you just looking at yourself, there are people around you who are not finding it easy. What did you do to help them? Because as our people, we need to be considerate. We need to care about what are all the feeling, what are they going through. Yes, things can be working out for you, but what is your neighbor going through?
Yeah.
Where do they need help and how are you being relevant to them? Because sometimes the things we do, you think you're doing great. Yes, you're doing great, but we are called to be a helper, to help others. So, but what are we doing to making a difference in our work? Because the only way we make a difference is by the little things we do, by giving a hand to other people around us and helping them to be their better versions.
Mm-hmm. So I like what you said about children. I find that children are the greatest teachers that we can ever find
Mm.
because they are fearless. They are fearless, they are open, they are inquisitive, they are eager to learn, they're eager to touch, they're eager to do so many things.
A
And
lot.
then we seem to learn this fear and this lack of curiosity as we get older. And so, the one thing that I am trying to support myself with and others is being childlike, being able to try something new, even if it's you're afraid of it. One of my girlfriends reminded me sometimes you have to do it scared. You know, even though you may not feel comfortable or
And that's the
confident or have
definition
no
of
clue,
courage.
just
Courage means doing it afraid, whether good or bad, just do it.
exactly, just doing it scared. And so I think that's something new I'm learning is that doing it scared. I oftentimes are so surprised that things actually work out that I forget to celebrate some of the wins. And so I'm working on saying, you know what, you deserve this. You're supposed to have success. You're supposed to get things right because you're smart and you're intelligent and you have the know how. But I think sometimes we're so used to things going wrong that we expect it to go wrong first before we expect it to go right first. And so
True.
expecting it to go right, expect it to work out, expect success. And then, like you said, is sharing it. You know, when someone says, can you help me? If you have a skill, then help them. And I try my best to be helpful, sometimes a little overly helpful because persons may not want the help, but helpful. And then, like you mentioned, just sharing your story. You never know who is going to be impacted just by you being you. And so, you know, there's a Bible verse, a Bible song that says, let your little light shine. And sometimes we forget that who we are is our light. And just being our true, authentic self is enough. Is more than enough to help someone to feel better, to be able to be great, to be able to glean and learn from us. There's a little bit of energy that we give off when we are our true authentic self. And so let your light shine and be authentic. And so for me, it's just trying to be my true authentic self most of the time so that I can be able to just let my energy and my aura be enough for others. Because sometimes we don't have to do any work, just need to be ourselves.
And that's true. Being your authentic self, you don't try to look like what you are not, but being your true self. Thank you so much. I think before we go further, I'd like us to take a word of break.
Sure.
Are you thinking of how to publish your book on Amazon or how to get your published book to become an Amazon bestseller book? Dip Insight Books is the perfect in-between solution in transforming your ideas into a book. We can help you with all the complicated parts of publishing, such as process TO transformation. What we do: full manuscript evaluation, receive quality assurance edit, full copy edit and final proofread to remove spelling and grammar mistakes, oversee your cover design, create your interior layout, publish and distribute your book, lock down your marketing strategy. Ghostwriting, where there is no manuscript. Our goal is to help you publish your book promptly. Contact us today at 404-740-9091. Email us at info@dipinsightworld.com. To start the submission process, check us out at www.books.dipinsightworld.com and submit your details. You can visit our Facebook page at Dip Insight World.
So welcome back. Thank you. Welcome back. I want to welcome everybody back. Thank you so much for being on this show. And thank you, our guests, for being with us, sharing your story with us. Would I like to find out from you, growing up in Bahamas, would I say that you left Bahamas and you got back? Or you were all your life in Bahamas? Can you share that with us, moving out of country and coming back to your country?
Sure thing. So I spent most of my childhood in the Bahamas. I
Yeah.
went off to college to the United States. I went to school called Tennessee State University in Nashville, Tennessee, where I spent a few years getting my degree in computer science. And I spent a few years there, and then I returned back home to work, and I've been home ever since.
Oh, awesome. So how did you handle those moments during COVID?
So during COVID was a world changer, and I think we all handled it differently. I was actually pursuing my master's degree during COVID, so I was, in school virtually, which was good. So it was not a big change. I was able to continue working virtually as well, and I found that I actually liked being home working. I liked having, everything in one space, not having to go through traffic, not having to be out all the time. And so I found COVID to be the upside to COVID for me was just being able to just pause, to be still and to reflect. I think we were so busy before COVID that for me, I took full advantage of being able to shut off. I think there were certain places where things closed early, and so everything was quiet and still for a while, and it gave you lots of time to think and to plan and to prepare. And so it was during COVID that I actually decided to release the book. And so I think the quiet time and the reflection time was good, all things considered. And so even though it's a very hard and difficult time, it's always finding that light, that silver lining in situations. And for me, the silver lining was being still and having time to really to see what was next for me, that big thing.
Yes, and that's why I wrote this book, Challenge is the Refiner. That when we go through difficult moments, when you think you have difficult moments, that's when you start thinking out of the box.
Mm-hmm.
That's when you start reflecting and start thinking. And that's why, you find that every great creator or inventor had some time to, quiet moments. They had time to go back to reflect. And you find that in this time we're so busy, everything's going so fast. We don't even have time to have quiet moments.
Mm-hmm.
I'm being intentional now, taking out time to just be quiet, not reading anything, not playing any music on the background, not reading anything, not even praying, but just being intentional and taking that time to stop, pause, and reflect.
Yeah.
And, to meditate, just look for a word of God and just, keep magnifying, keep reading it over in your heart and keep seeing the bigger picture of where you want to be.
Mm-hmm.
Because we find that a lot of times because of the busyness, everybody is in a hurry. We don't take time to just, you know, refreshing ourselves,
Yeah.
to go back to the drawing board, how it all started, you
Mm-hmm.
know. And that's why I tell people, I say, when you have a tree, when you prune the tree, it's not always palatable
Mm-hmm.
because the pruning brings about more fruits. But when we go through pruning, we get pain and everybody's not happy. But
Mm-hmm.
those are the moments we should be thankful and grateful for because we come out better,
Yeah.
we are more fruitful and more beautiful. So you
You
want to say something?
you said something that triggered a thought and a memory from me, especially during COVID. There was a song that I heard. It was by the Maverick City singers, and it's called "The Refiner."
Yeah.
And after listening to that song, I did some research, and I understood what the refining process was back in the day, trying to get this piece of metal to be clean and pure. And there was a process of putting this metal in some intense heat and taking it out again and repeating that process continuously until the individual was able to see their face in that piece of metal. And God says He's the same way for us. He puts us through these situations to be able to see His face in us, these difficult situations. And I think some of my greatest disappointments also occurred during COVID. I couldn't understand why. Like, you try to do everything right. You try to be a good person. You try to study. You try to work hard. You do all that you know you should do, and things just do not work out well. But then you realize there's a process. There's a process of going through refining, a process of becoming the best you. And sometimes it's like pruning. It's very uncomfortable. It's going to be hard. You're going to lose a few friends. You're going to lose people who are closest to you. You may lose
True.
a job. You may lose a promotion. You may lose anything, things that you thought that were supposed to be a part of your complete picture.
And that's the test of friendship. Who those who are your true friends, who need
Mhm.
to be around you.
And after everything is done and you get through that process and you finally look at it maybe not right away, may take a few days, a few hours, a few months, And you realize, I see now why that had to happen. But in the moment, it's never easy. Like, Lord, why am I going
True
through this?
thing.
But give it some time. And he says, this is why. It was for you to be able to do this or to do that. And I think for me, the things that I've been through have given me the stories, the tools, the inputs I need to be able to be what I am today. I didn't like it at the time, but I'm understanding more and more that everything is definitely for a reason. You just can't see it in the moment.
Yeah, you just said it. It's just like the map, the GPS.
Mm-hmm.
God will never show you the whole journey because sometimes if He shows you, you might chicken out. You might run away and say, "No, I don't want." Like
Yeah.
what happened to Joseph? Joseph knew it was going to be sold.
Mm-hmm.
Was going to be sold to slavery. Joseph wouldn't have said, "You mean for me to become king? I'm going to go through this." Oh no,
Mm-hmm.
I don't want it. God, keep your kingship. But God never told him this is what he was going to go through. But he went through difficult moments, but he came out through. He was stronger. He was
Yeah.
able to go through the test of time. And he became, one of the choicest person
Mm-hmm.
in the palace of Potiphar. And
Yeah.
so that when we go through difficult moments, he brings out the best in us.
Yeah.
And sometimes God is putting them together to bring us the limelight. And like you rightly said, I have a book, The Challenges, The Refiner, that when we go through challenges is for a reason. And I'll take a moment to just show you a bit of the thriller. It's just some few seconds. Sorry, and that's it. The when we go through difficult moments, they're actually meant to bring out the best in us.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why sometimes we take time to think and sometimes we say, why me, Lord? Why me? But why not you? Why should it be somebody else? So there's
Mm-hmm.
always something in that part, in that difficult moment that God wants us to learn. And the moment we learn those situations, we move to the next level. It's just like you being in a particular grade in school. When
Yeah.
you don't do well in that grade, you're not promoted. You are not moved to the next class. You're asked to repeat the class. So for God to take you to where He wants you to be, He wants to try and see what stuff are you made of.
Mm-hmm.
Can you go through these moments? Can you stand for others? And the moment you go through and you're able to learn what you need to learn, then you're moved to the next phase of your life. And that's why I tell everyone there's really no one that is living on this side of the planet that doesn't have one challenge or the other. It
Yeah.
could be small, it could be big, it could be medium, but they're either going from one challenge to the other. Because
Mm-hmm.
the moment you overcome, a newer one comes on the scene. And that's how it is. It just keeps coming and you keep getting better.
Yeah.
So I
I
want to
think.
thank our viewers. I also want to thank you. And before we call it a day, you probably want to have maybe you have a story to tell to cap it up. You want to leave a message for those who probably might be joining late, so that those who came on board very late could at least take something home.
So there's two things I want to do before we close today. One is I want to read one of the poems from the book to you, and this one is called The Present, and it says, "No one really lets go of the things in our life. It's not as simple as a string. There are no ends that can be cut off to give you new beginnings. It's not easy to forget. We have no eraser for the mind. The thing we can thank time for is giving us reason to move on. There is no chance of turning back, just making use of the present. Only time will let you know how you will make out with tomorrow." That's called The Present. And again, this is Memories of a Misguided Rose, a journey of love, heartbreak, and self discovery. It's an emotional journey where you can feel, you can relate, you can be able to share. You may not have gone through any of those experiences, but someone in your life may have. And that's what's most important. How can we support someone who's gone through something? It's about giving that support, that empathy, and that understanding. My book can be found on major book platforms, Amazon.com, Books a Million, Barnes and Noble, and the list can go on. And if you're in the Bahamas, please reach out to me. I have a website. It's rosenaduncanson.com. Please reach out, and I have no issues getting you your copy. Back to you, Sandra.
Yeah, no, while I'm trying to show my details, you could quickly write it in the comment section so that someone who comes in late can probably look through. So thank you so much, everyone. I want to thank your viewers, most especially for being on this show. Thank you. You're the reason why we're here every Monday. And I want to thank you for supporting myself and our guest today, Rosena Duncanson. Thank you so much for making a time out of your busy schedule and connecting with us from Bahamas. So great to have you. And I wish I was coming for the Toastmasters Bahamas event, but I know if I can make it this year, I will try as much as possible so we can meet in person. So I want to thank our viewers again. Thank you so much, and do have a blessed evening. Bye, everyone.
Bye. Take care.